right, now that Gaff has left us to go to South Africa, we will move on to Crossplay. I have a lot to talk about on Crossplay, but we're going to start with Eric this week.
Me? Oh boy, let's see.
Yeah.
What have I been playing? This is a tough one because I honestly forget. I've been playing a few games like Shovel Knight on the Steam Deck. That was like back on Black Friday. I picked that up. Picked up the Treasure Trove Collection, which is $20 for all the Shovel Knight. Not all the Shovel Knight games. All the Shovel Knight games that they promised during their Kickstarter way back then. So it's Shovel Knight. It's Plague Knight, Spectre Knight, and then King of Cards, and then Showdown. So it's like 5 games all for the price of 1, and
Oh
it's like
my gosh.
pretty good deal. Almost done with base game Shovel Knight. I believe I'm on the way to the big baddie with the tower or whatever. Like there's a couple levels I have to get to, but yeah, there's that. Um
You got a ways.
finally just bit the bullet on buying No Man's Sky on Steam. I've played it a bit on PS5 with a friend. They didn't really stick around that much with it. I've always wanted to pick it up on PC specifically because like I played the Game Pass version in VR and that was pretty fun. But like I've wanted to own it and now that I got the Steam Deck, I was like, you know what? Let me just bite the bullet. Bought it on Steam and playing it on Steam Deck. Runs I wouldn't say it runs the best because like there are like occasional stutters and like it's very noticeable when it happens. So you can run it at 60 FPS. I don't. I run it at 30 because it just drops down so many times that you will notice it even at 40 FPS, which I wanted to do it at, but running it at 30, running it at high settings, and it's running pretty good. So having fun with that. I have like about 6 hours in that, and I feel that's gonna be like my podcast game or like my watching TV kind of game where I just sit back, play No Man's Sky while I'm listening to a podcast or something going on, and just chill out with that game.
Sit
Um,
back, play No Man's Sky while I'm podcasting.
yeah, literally played a bit of it while Steven was setting up for the podcast earlier. Was just like, here, let me just go out and like explore a bit. Let me see what I can do around here. Um, trying to think what else I've played. I haven't really played that much when I think about it. Um, oh, Warzone 2.0. Playing that with friends.
Yep.
What a fun time that is. Like I've fallen out of Call of Duty like the longest time, but since Warzone 2.0 was free and it's like the newest thing, I was like, you know what, let me give it a try. And it's insanely fun. Like I've been playing with a high school friend I haven't kept up with in a while, and it's been fun keeping up with him playing that game. Um, Unhinged trios. Let me just tell you right now, it is unhinged. So what basically is that you drop in with 3 people, but then you can go when you're playing around in the game, you can recruit people into your squad. And so if you have proximity chat on, it gets wild where obviously people are being gangster, obviously Call of Duty kids. But we had one guy on PC, me and my other friend were on Xbox on Discord, which by the way, Discord on Xbox is a game changer. You no
Yeah,
longer have
dude.
to use your phone. You can just do it all on the Xbox and it's so great and easy. Um, Only thing with that is that you can't really do game chat. So we had the guy on PC talking to people in the game, and then there was one where me and him are
Nice.
walking up a ladder, and he's like talking to these guys in proximity chat nearby, telling them like, "Hey, we want to join your squad or whatever." And as we get to the top of the ladder, I see like 5 guys just looking at me. I'm like, "Oh shit!" like I didn't know what was going on because I can't hear them in the proximity chat because I'm on Discord, and so I see them. I turn around and jump off the ladder. I'm like, thankfully these are the guys like our guy is like talking to, so like they didn't shoot at me much. But let me tell you, when I was like, oh shit, I was like, oh fuck,
I had
there was
a
that.
similar experience with that. And it was I don't know if it was me, Jacob, and Ian or Cody. Um, we were playing Unhinged Trios and they were talking to someone in proximity chat. They were on PC, both of them.
Yeah,
And this is just this solo guy in a behind a riot shield. And as you know, riot shield people infuriate players. So my instinct was to, because I had a thermite, lob a thermite off the roof at this dude. Because I'm, like, fuck you with your riot shield, get out of here. Uh And then they're like, no, don't do it. He gets killed, right? And I'm like, what? Was there? And like, we were gonna recruit him to our squad, and he was like, yeah. The dude was like, hey guys, don't shoot me, I'm alone. Can I join your squad? And right after that, they're like, yeah, you just threw thermite at him, and he got killed. I'm like, that's fantastic.
Yeah, another one that happened is we already have a full squad or whatever, and like we see someone coming up over the hill, and then they're yelling like, "Oh, I'm the only one here! I'm the only one here! I'm trying to go to the buy station to revive my friend," and then they let him go to the buy station, but then they go behind him and execute him.
Oh no!
And so
There's some just dude. Proximity chat is like the best thing they could have added to this game. I feel like,
yeah,
but also
one more story,
simultaneously
like,
maybe the worst. But go ahead.
yeah, and then we play another game, Unhinged Trios, and then the game literally starts. I land on the roof and I start shooting this guy. Just like my instincts like kick in, like, oh, I'm gonna knock this guy down. I knock him down, and they're like, whoa, 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 calm. Like, we're gonna try and. Then we see they talk to another squad, who's like, oh, you guys want to join us? Like, and then the guy I down is like, is this guy your friend? And I think they said no, and so my guy executes the guy I downed.
Oh no!
It's just so funny because like when I downed him, I thought he was part of the squad that my guy was trying to recruit. So I was like, oh, let me hold up, and they're like, no, he's not part of our squad, and so they just execute him. It's so fucking funny.
Boom boom.
So execute. Do you know what execution is, right, Sam? Like,
it's
like
when
they
you execute what?
Yeah.
well, okay, so you hold the melee button and it performs like a special like finishing move thing.
Oh, and I
Yeah.
downed enemy. Okay.
Yeah, or
yeah.
if you surprise them and they're not downed, you can kill them that way.
Sneak attack.
Yeah. And then while our third guy went to go get like to eat something or whatever, I was like, me and my other friend go do duos. And let me tell you, we won that game, even though I didn't think we were going to, because he died very early on. And I'm like, I hate confrontation. I hate running towards the people. I'm like the guy who sits back and lets other people like run in and assess the situation. Me, I'm just like, all right, I'll go back you up, but like I'm not gonna go Rambo this situation.
Yeah.
So he dies, and like I'm trying to get enough money to revive him because like he dies in the gulag as well, and so
That tension is something else.
yeah, and so I'm out here just like, all right, I need to get enough money, and then like I go into a building, get enough money to revive him. There's a buy station right in front of me, but then I hear gunshots literally like in the next building over. I'm like, ah, fuck. So what I do is I hide in the building for like the longest time, crouching, and then and like I'm sitting like right in the corner of a door, and so if you open the door, like I'm behind the door, and so like I'm like, oh, I hear them. I hear them like walking around, and so they open the door. They don't see me. A guy walks through. I start blasting him. I down him, and as soon as I down him, I run around the building, and his friend goes to revive him. When I go around the building, I shoot him and his friend who revived him, and I killed him. And so I revived my friend, and I was like, "Oh shit! I did not think like that would happen."
That's what makes this game great, dude. I don't know. It just stuff like that. Or go ahead.
And then we made it like to the final circle, and like we made it to a loadout drop. You know, like where you can like so there's like a loadout drop where you can like in the pregame lobby you can like make custom loadouts or whatever. I get the loadout drop. I don't know what I'm fucking doing with that. I pick one of the default ones, and that one has the perk where the edges of your screen light up if someone is looking at you, and so like I can like tell when someone's looking at me. I'm like, oh shit, there's someone over this way. Let's go hide. And so it's just me, my friend, and then one more dude, and we're just like, where the fuck is this guy at? And like the circles in Warzone, like they move when you're in the final one. So like this guy is like hiding in some forest or somewhere, and then I get the screen light up in north, and I'm like, oh shit, he's looking at us. Let's back up. So he has to come to us because the circle's moving towards our way. So we have to like move, and then once the enemy starts finally moving, like my friend notices him, starts shooting at him, but like the enemy downs him, and then I'm just shooting at the enemy, and like we win it. And I'm like, oh yes, so fun.
Yeah, we got
Like if it wasn't for that perk, I wouldn't know where the fuck he was at.
there's one
So,
called
like, so good.
Battle Eye, I think, or Hawkeye, one of the two. You
Yeah,
get
something like that.
when
I don't know what it was.
So when someone activates a UAV near you, you get a UAV too.
Oh, that's interesting.
So there's some really interesting perks that they've added with Warzone too. I could really get into it, but I think gone long on it, but I think
Yeah.
I got 2 duos wins last night with my brother, uh, which is abnormal. You know, it's pretty hard to get a win in duos.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just feel like it was you have those moments, and there was the second win I got was almost an execution win, right? Like it was the last person. He was prone on a bridge, and you know, I killed 2 other people, the team coming down the hill, and there's this guy prone on the bridge, circle's going to him. He's got a perfect spot. He thinks he's safe. He doesn't see me because he kills them, right? And I don't fire, like I fire a little bit at them, but he finishes them, so he doesn't know where I'm at because I have a suppressor. Then I hop over the bridge and I get behind the dude. And I sneak up to him to try to finish move him, but he's prone, so it doesn't necessarily work all the time. And so he sees that, you know, he hops up, and then I'm like, oh shit, I'm gonna lose right here, right? But then, you know, obviously you clutch it up, you get the win. I feel like those kind of moments are what define that game. It's just like you could have
Yeah.
lost so many ways, but then despite it, you do.
Yeah, there was a moment where me and the other 2 guys I was playing with, like, we went to like a city kind of area, I think it was. We noticed some guys, they start shooting at them, they come our way. My friend goes down. I revive. I can't remember like exactly. There's so much going on. I revive him. These other guys come through the door. I start blasting them. I jump. I go around them, kill them, interrogate one of the dudes to like find out where his teammates are. But while that's happening, someone else kills my friend, and then like I go around them and kill them. It was like a whole lot going on. It's just so much like Warzone is like a lot different than like just normal Call of Duty is, and
Yeah.
like I think I enjoy that a lot more than just standard
Same.
multiplayer for Call of Duty.
It's distilled chaos. Especially one thing I want to touch on before we move on is the unhinged, right? We managed to get a squad of 6 people. We still lost somehow because it's very hard to organize. Yeah, it's very hard to organize with 6 people. Turns out, but
Yeah,
it is fun. We got those big helicopters, the huge ones, and we all piled into that, and it was fun. And the helicopter got blown.
Yeah, this last thing, like you're mentioning, like how hard it is for 6 people to get organized. Let me tell you, yeah, it is, because when we did unhinged for 6 people, the gas was coming in, and like these guys, like half our team was just focusing on this one team behind us, and I'm just like running forward. I'm like, nope, I'm just getting out of the gas. I'm not gonna deal with these guys.
And then they all
like
die.
they kill the team, but like they're dying to the gas. Or it's like, oh no, we can't.
The gas is way more of a threat in this one. So
Yeah.
But yeah, that's Warzone 2.
Yeah. That's basically all I've been playing, really.
All right, Steven, what have you been playing outside of Warzone 2?
Lot of games. I played some Dead Cells again. They had a new update. Everyone's Here version 2 or whatever, so they added a lot more like characters and weapons from other games, and basically it works like Easter eggs, but like I did some more of the bank run, which is just essentially clearing out different levels of this infested bank. It's like a pocket dimension thing. You get different key cards. It's not as much of a challenge as I thought it would be, but it's kind of except because you're doing different elevators, and you can take out a loan, and if you die, you owe that money to the bank until, so you don't make any money until you pay that loan back. Dead Cells continues to be awesome. I don't know when they're going to stop updating that game because it's been out for quite a while. So like I would hope that they would maybe move on to their next project, or hopefully they are on their next project, because whatever Twin Motion does, I'm there for. So played some Slay the Spire. It's been a lot of rogue-like games also. Slay the Spire.
All these indies I bought.
And then you know, Slay the Spire is just the same card base. That's about it. But Rogue Legacy 2. I've not made much progress as I'd like. But I've gotten some new abilities.
Another stream of that.
Dude, yeah, I agree. I got some new abilities, and that game continues to surprise me in like every time I play each session, that's what's cool about it, is like I keep getting new items and upgrades and like discovering things that I didn't see before. And so kudos to that. Like
Didn't that come out this year?
it did, and it was not in any of the awards. Like
Yeah, I feel like
that game, it's incredible. Like I feel
didn't it
like
get really highly reviewed.
it
Like, how
did
did that
too.
not?
Yeah. It's just, early on and like
Yeah, I guess not enough people played it. Maybe I don't know.
yeah. What else are they playing? I don't know. I've played a lot of games. I played some more Destiny a little bit. I'm trying to catch up. I fell off. I didn't complete the season pass this time. I don't think I'm going to.
Wow.
It's
you even a
it is
real
a first
Destiny
actually.
fan?
Yeah.
Oh,
Who
it's a
knows, dude? Who
first.
knows?
There's a first for everything.
Yeah, just a lot of games that came out, right? I didn't really have too much time for Destiny. Pokemon was the last one I wanted to touch on.
Pokemon.
I played a lot more raids. I did a couple more gym battles. But mostly a lot of like exploring, really. And you can do a lot of that in Pokemon. Just the sheer size of the place. I don't know. Like, just when I think, I'm like, okay, I'll put this destination pin down and I'm gonna get on my bike and ride it over there. It takes a while, like longer than I think, to get to that in most cases. Because there's a lot of verticality to the map too. And the only sticking point for me has been, I wish I would have a system like Breath of the Wild where you just climb the wall. But
Climb everything.
it might come with like some upgrades. I don't know if it comes with like the bike or whatever. I know there's some more upgrades to that, so I'll have to maybe focus on that for traversal, right?
Skyrim it.
Yeah,
On a
pretty
horse,
much.
you just go straight on.
Yeah, so I've been kind of cheesing some areas, like because I got the high jump now for the bike. Like you hold the jump, it goes higher.
You can jump.
I mean, yeah.
What when you're on a bike?
Yeah, well, the bike jumps, right? Because it's a Pokemon. It's a legendary Pokemon they give you, and each time eats
The
a
bike
herb.
is a Pokemon.
Yeah,
It's not an actual bike.
it's not a bike.
Oh, this is wild.
It's a motorcycle Pokemon thing, like, and
That's
it
nuts,
eats
alright.
herbs, and each time it eats herbs in a sandwich, it gets stronger, and it's
Alright.
kind of cute. But yeah. Titans are
Fair enough.
awesome. Giant Pokemon are always cool to face. And then raids. Raids was the one I was going to touch on last time that I didn't really get into. And the co-op. Co-op is, it's not as extensive as I'd like it to be. It's you can do raids, you can be with each other in the open world and things like that. But obviously when you go into like story events and things like that, it's your own instance. And so it's limited in that way. Kind of like most co-op games. It's a little bit of a bummer, but the raids are really cool. Like the animations and things they put into it, you can tell there was a lot of TLC for that. Like throwing a Pokeball, it does this cool like spinning animation, and then the Pokeball crystallizes before like catch this raid Pokemon. And you're all working together because it's like a terrestrialized version of this like Pokemon crystallized. Usually it takes on a different type. Like if it's the one that I thought was weird was like Shroomish or something, ended up having a dragon terrestrialization. So there's some really interesting mixes you get with that. And then Arcanine, the one I caught, has ground terrestrialization. So makes for some dynamic play when it comes to like most Pokemon battles, because then you're like, oh, okay, I have the type figured out. And then the terrestrial, and you're like, okay, well, they kind of covered that part, so I got to think of my strategy more. Yeah, it's like the Breath of the Wild of Pokemon. I just wish it ran better. But that's
Lots of bugs.
Yep. Yes, lots of bug Pokemon too. Yeah. Yeah, well, the one more thing I wanted to touch on with performance was like thing that's really been getting to me that I notice is like when they pop in, the Pokemon pop in and randomly, and I run into them because they don't
populate
on the screen
like,
quick enough.
time,
yeah, and so
That's
That's
annoying.
been my biggest. That's my crossplay though.
All right. Well, my crossplay is brought to you by Xbox Game Pass because I was
Mm.
in my brother was here last week, and so I was down in the basement hanging out with him. He was on the TV. I actually was using his monitor down there, but I brought my Series S down to the basement. So I was playing a lot of different games from Xbox Game Pass. So first was As Dusk Falls, which I thought was pretty good. I liked it a lot. The story kept me like playing. Like I think I played it in two sittings because there's books and then chapters. There's book one and book two. So I played each book in one sitting. So the only break I took was in between books. So the story kind of kept me going. Got I think the characters for the most part are super interesting. There are times, especially in book two, where they put you in the perspective of of like a character where I'm like, I don't really care what's going on with this character.
I think I know what you're
Um,
talking about.
so there's times where it focuses on the wrong character. Like, what I didn't this didn't, really didn't add much to it. I guess they just wanted to cover all their bases and like show what's happening to fucking literally every character. And then the ending was good, but then there was like an completely unnecessary, um, like, sequel setup. Like,
I'd agree. I'd agree. Like it could have been a
um
very closed. Like they did a good
yeah,
job at closing things off, and then they're just like, oh, by the way,
yeah. Like, if they wanted to make a sequel, they could have just had this at the beginning of the next game.
yep,
But I'd rather see them just make another game like this that's completely separate, like, completely separate story, like, new characters and stuff.
maybe
'Cause,
more
like, I
budget,
thought it What's that?
maybe more budget for animation,
Maybe, yeah. I really liked the art style, like, I liked the way it was, like,
like pseudo comic, right?
it
Like
was like yeah, and it was, like, almost like stop motion at times,
yeah,
kind of, because it was like
it would move a little bit, like 2 or 3
yeah,
frames, and then
yeah, it wasn't like, constant motion, it was like they would jump across the screen. Yeah, I actually really dug that, about it. So, yeah, I like, if they are making a sequel, I'm looking forward to I would be excited to play it. But at the same time, it's like I'd rather them just move on to new characters, new story. I thought at at first I thought, oh, they did a really good job like closing this out with all these characters, but then there was an like scene at the very end that was just like clearly just setting up a sequel, and I was like, oh, that feels so unnecessary. Um, so that's As Dusk Falls. Really enjoyed it. Um, then I started playing Vampire Survivors.
mm,
And this game is so addicting,
Eh.
and I'm surprised I was able to move on to play a bunch of other games, that I will be talking about as well. Because yeah, this game is addicting, and it's nice because it's one of those games where you can just kinda play one round and then go to another thing if you really want to, um, especially once you get later and later, um, it's not because the rounds are gonna last longer, so it's not like you're just playing 2-minute rounds or whatever. So one of the I got to 30 minutes in the first map, I think it was. Yeah. So I got to 30 minutes in that, and then some like boss or some shit just comes out of nowhere at 30 minutes and just annihilated me. It's
yep.
like, what the
Yeah, that's
fuck is
normal.
that?
That's normal.
Yeah. Um, but that was pretty cool. So I got to 30 minutes. It's just really nice because you always feel like you're progressing because you're like leveling up characters, unlocking different classes. There's like a ton of different classes. Um,
The synergies.
yeah, and like all the different and it's really fun like experimenting with different like combinations of weapons and like trying to figure out what like weapons you should choose over other ones. Um, onion is like a necessity, or not onion, garlic
Like
is a necessity. Like I don't think I could function without garlic because it gives you like a nice little buffer um around you, and like some enemies you can literally just walk straight into and they'll die before they actually touch you, so that's super nice.
On Bible.
Um,
Well,
Get the Bible. Yeah.
yeah, Bible's nice because it spins around, and then like yeah, Bible is weak as fuck like when starting off. But
Yep.
once you like upgrade it to get more projectiles, once you get like
Yeah, dude.
7 Bibles around you, it's just fucking ridiculous.
Well, yeah. Once you get like the fully upgraded Bible with like the combination or whatever, oh, that thing is fucking. Oh boy.
Yeah. Yeah, I got the evolved garlic. That thing kicks ass, dude. That
Yep.
thing annihilates things.
Yeah.
Like um so yeah, it's really fun like experimenting with different, and it's so it like the gameplay is just so simple. Like you just walk around
Yeah.
Yeah.
because you don't actually like activate any of the like weapons or anything. You just literally walk around and you're trying to survive, and it's a really cool like arcadey premise.
It's fun.
It's not going to be it might be in my top 5. We'll see how much like I play it. Um but it is a very addicting game. I wish I had a Steam Deck. This is like the one game where I'm like, "Oh my god, like Steam Deck, that'd be fucking sick." Or if this was on Switch, dude, this is like the perfect
Well,
Switch game.
Yeah.
Like come on.
yeah.
But at the same time it's on Game Pass, so I don't really want to
It's good on cloud.
for it.
You have good enough
It's like
internet.
$3 on
Yeah.
Steam. It's not that bad.
Oh, okay. Okay. Um I wish it had more different music though.
Yeah, maybe in a
Like
sequel.
the music's like I don't think the music's different based on level, right? Or is
It
it?
is.
Yeah.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe I
And
just haven't
the
noticed
music
that.
actually starts hitting crazier.
Yeah. The one thing that the one big thing is when you open chests, I haven't is there a way to skip the animation? Because like it goes for way too long.
I think.
I think there is, yeah.
Excuse me.
I think you can
Yeah,
like
there is.
I haven't
hold
there is one?
escape or
I haven't figured
something
that out
if
yet.
it's PC.
Hmm.
Yeah, on Steam Deck it's like B. I don't know if it's just B on Xbox as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a
I
way to
haven't
skip
figured
it.
I haven't okay, cool. Because like especially when you get one of those chests that has 3 things in it, it literally
Yeah.
goes on for so
Okay.
long.
So
It's
that's
like, oh my god.
it's
open
cool
the fucking
for
chest already.
a while, right? You're like, oh, that's
Yeah.
awesome. They got all the things.
And like I
you're
love
okay.
I do love like the music that plays when the chest is opening. But yeah, it's one of those things where I'm like getting chests every
Hey.
like 5 seconds. It's
Yeah.
like, okay, come on. Let's move on. So I guess I need to figure out what the button is there. Yeah, loving that game. Let's move on to a game that I did not love, A Memoir Blue.
Oh no.
You know,
Nominated for best impact game.
yeah, you know, I've said it time and time again. Annapurna don't miss. They fucking missed. They swung and missed on this one. The gameplay is so boring. Literally the only reason I finished this game is because I knew it was like only an hour.
Mm,
Like I was bored as fuck playing this game. There's like so little. You're doing like so little. Like you're just kind of like dragging your mouse around until you find something you can click on, and then that like kind of progresses the the game, and it's like I
literally
don't know.
point and click.
Yeah, but like just so boring, man. There's nothing like clever about like the like gameplay of it.
Mhm.
Like it's not like it's like clever puzzles. No, it's boring as hell. Um and the like story that's being told is like nothing special.
I
It's
want to
just
get
about this chick that like is a swimmer and she's sad because her mom wasn't supporting her. But at the end, her mom shows up and supports her. So sweet, so sweet.
I want to get your take on immortality at some point.
I haven't
I
played
think that
it,
would
so
be your alley.
I don't know, man. Those games freak me out.
What do you mean, the FMV kind of stuff? Like,
Yeah, because there was that one that came out last year. The hell was that called? We like looked through all the different videos.
God, I can't
It
remember.
was like a detective type thing.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Because like that, I don't know. That kind of stuff just
Like,
freaks me out.
I
I don't know.
it's
Something about it.
interesting.
Creepy.
I would give it a
Um,
go.
Next is Inside, which I had played like 2/3 of this game, and for some reason I just never went back to it. But I just played like the whole thing. I
Yeah.
restarted it. 'Cause I played Limbo, love Limbo, like adore Limbo. Inside is even better than Limbo. Inside is awesome. Like this game rules. Um, the design with like the puzzles, great.
The scary.
Just the aesthetic of it, like this studio just nails the aesthetic. You know, this dark, like eerie, but like kind of charming aesthetic. Um, and along with that, like their environmental storytelling, really, really good. Um, the the ending of this game is crazy. There's this crazy twist. Have either of you played Inside?
Yeah.
No.
Okay, bro, the twist in this game's crazy, bro. It's crazy.
What about like those
Um,
hags or what?
oh,
Yeah.
ugh,
Yeah.
the mermaid things. Ugh.
Yeah. That got me in that like.
That's definitely like the most like terrified I was in that game.
Mhm.
Is whenever I had to go into the water, I was like, please don't be one of them in here. Yeah, like when you talk about video games as art, this is one of them. This is one of them right here
The
that
reason
you
it got
should
10 out of 10.
that you should reference. Great game, great game. Um, which I guess I'll move on. I'll skip a couple here for a second. I'll move on to a game that isn't made by the same studio, but it's made by people who worked on Inside
Oh.
and then now have their own studio, Somerville,
Hmm.
which I was very much looking forward to playing, and it is by far the most disappointed I've ever been this year. Played, not ever been. It is the
This
most
year.
disappointing game this year. And it's not like terrible. It's not the worst game ever. And
I
it's
would
not
think.
even my least favorite game this year. It's better than a Memoir Blue. Um, but they did the thing where it's like side scrolling in like a 3D space.
Mm.
So like you can move back and forth. It's not just going from side to side. And that completely ruins the game because the camera's awful. It's the same problem I had with the medium. It's just like, and I can't forgive it because like it's the same thing with the fucking old Final Fantasy games, and like where they can't, or it's so jank trying to get around like areas in that game.
Yeah.
But I can forgive it because Final Fantasy is fucking 30 years old almost at this point, so I could forgive that. But these new games, we need to just abandon this type of camera. It is awful. Like I hate it. Just had like, especially when you're in like a kind of a cluttered environment, can be really hard to like try to get around certain things. Um, and that like really spoiled this game for me. And also, but I will say again, they nailed like the aesthetic of this story. It's really cool, like eerie sci-fi, alien invasion type thing going on. Um, I guess I'm just not smart enough for what they were trying to set up because I learned after I finished the game there were multiple endings. I went back and did all of them following a guide because like they were so obtuse. Like you were supposed to be able to like translate the alien language, I guess, at some point during the game, and I was like, "What the? How? Like where?" I don't know. I feel like they could have done a way better job setting that up. Um, and kind of maybe not straight up just explaining it to you, but a little better job setting it up. Um, overall, the puzzles were kind of whatever. They weren't anything special, I didn't think. So yeah, it kind of all just accumulated in a very intriguing but very disappointing game overall. So that's Somerville. We got Faye. Let's just or Fee Fe Iron maybe
Yeah.
periodic table of
Yeah.
elements.
That's. I think that's what it is.
I
I
don't think
hope.
it is. I don't think it is. It has
Well,
nothing to do with iron.
I mean,
Um, So this game reminded me of The Pathless. You play as like a fox, but you don't have a bow and arrow. You play as like a fox. You like run around and you gain certain abilities as you collect certain things throughout the game. The It's a platformer, like 3D open world-ish platformer. You go in different areas, kind of Metroidvania a little bit because you have to go back to certain areas if you want to like once you have certain abilities. Um, the art style is really cool. The worst part about it is the platforming itself. It is the character, the little fox creature thing you're playing as is like so janky, has so much momentum, like floats around like nobody's fucking business. It's so hard to control him sometimes. Um, and my biggest problem, also to do with the platforming, is the checkpointing with the platforming because you'll like get to certain areas and there's no fall damage. So like you'll get up super high in this area and then you'll miss one jump and you'll fall all the way down. And like at a certain point, I literally lost like probably 30 minutes of progress because I
Oh,
fell like all the way down to this other spot. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding
you
me?
see, that's when I uninstall the
Um,
game.
yeah, and it's just like, oh my god, like there needed to be better. And then when I like would try to reload a checkpoint, it would put me down there, like where I fell. I'm like, are you fucking serious? Um, but I really did like the visuals. The narrative's like cool. Like there's no dialogue or anything. It's a lot like the Pathless, the fucking ancient civilization kind of fucked up shit, and you're there to save the nature on the world. I guess I don't know. uh, it was a fun game, but pretty janky. We have the Gunk. This is a game that came out this year. The Gunk. There's a lot of gunk in this game, a lot of gunk, and it's very satisfying. I know, Steven, you like Power Wash Simulator,
Yeah, dude.
bro.
I also
Sucking
liked
up the gunk in this game, very
I
satisfying.
also liked the gunk.
Oh, you played the gunk.
Dude, I beat the gunk.
Oh, you gunked the gunk,
I got
or
it.
you de-gunked the
uh,
gunk.
I thoroughly enjoyed that game, man. It's a
Yeah,
great game.
I liked it a lot. I honestly would have played longer if it was a longer game,
Yeah,
because it is
same.
pretty short. So yeah, I hope they make some sort of sequel. Because yeah, super. I thought it was super satisfying, like sucking all the gunk away. Um,
And the characters are charming too. Like,
yeah, yeah. I wish they would have done a little bit more with like puzzling. Um,
yeah.
but there's a few puzzles here and there, but nothing too extreme. I think that's all I had to say. Oh, I loved the art style actually of the game.
Yeah, I
Um,
think that's
I
one of
don't
its
even
strong suits.
I don't even really know how to describe it, but I
Bright,
like it.
just white.
Colorful, but like almost.
I
I don't
compare
know.
it to something like a Slime Rancher kind of style too. Like it's similar in
Yeah, but
like
I feel like it's not as
cartoony almost.
vibrant as like a Slime Rancher art style because
Yeah,
it's like kind of muted, a little
right.
bit. Like it's colorful. Like there's a lot of colors going on, but it's not as like
Pastel.
yes, pastel. That's a good one. Yeah, that's a good description of it. So yeah, would have liked to see a little bit more like a twist on the gameplay at some point in it. Um, One more game pet or no, actually this was on PS Plus because this is when I came back upstairs. A little game called The Gardens Between.
Oh, that's a good game.
You played it?
Yeah, it was on Game
Okay.
Pass for a while.
Oh, maybe I did play it on I don't know. No, I played it on PlayStation. I platinumed it. It was very easy platinum. A charming little puzzle game about these two kids. One of them's like moving, and so they're kind of like coping with that. And you're going through these like different environment. I don't know. It's really hard to describe.
You're just
It's almost like a
connecting things and like I don't know,
yeah.
uncovering different things.
There's just a bunch of different like levels, and you're
Yeah,
going through them, and you use time as like the main way to solve the puzzles. You like pretty much the whole gameplay is you hold R2 to like fast forward time and you move across the level, and then L2 to rewind time and you go back across the level, and then you can interact with certain things in the level to try to solve the puzzles. And certain things will, when you interact with them, will uh stay as they are as you rewind and fast forward through time, depending on what you do. I really liked it. Another game which I would have played much more of, and would have loved to see them get a little bit more complicated with some of the puzzles. But I platinumed it. It was a fun game. Uh, Getting down to the last couple here. Final Fantasy VII. Finally finished it. The original. This game is so good. Um, I like I said a couple weeks ago, I was kind of getting bored a little bit in disc one, where you're kind of just like running around, going to different areas, uh, looking for Sephiroth, and then you finally find him. And what does he do? Fucking kills Aerith. I knew that was coming. Didn't realize it was that early though.
Yeah.
It was like
Disc 1, I still believe, right?
End of disc one. It's like the last thing that happens at the end of disc one. Yeah, and that scene is like so well done for like being like 30 years old at this point almost. Um, yeah, great, or 25 years old, I guess. I again the whole turn based thing. Not my favorite, but it's good. Like I still was having fun with it. I was shocked that I never had to use any of the cheats besides the fast for the speed up one. Um, Beat Sephiroth's ass on the second try, although he killed me once, and I had to go all the way back to the beginning of the dungeon because that's where the last save point is, and it was awful. But I kind of just ran through there and to fight him again. And of course, that's when they have to fucking introduce in the last dungeon. They have to introduce fucking uh stabby dudes.
Oh yeah.
Friggin', what are they called?
I get Polar. I can't remember.
I don't remember.
No, I really don't remember.
Fucking
I know they use.
fucking Tonberries. Jesus
There we
Christ.
go.
Oh.
Fucking Tonberries, man.
course.
Tonberries. They stab you. It's fucking assholes. All right, little fucking assholes. But then yeah, I killed Sephiroth. Had 1 health on all my people because he has an ability that reduces your whole party to 1 health. And before I was able to heal, I had the next person up using. I think they were using their limit. I think Cloud used a limit at the end to kill him. Before I even got to the other parties to be able to heal. So literally killed him with 1 health. I was like so happy. And then the end sequence where you just use the limit on him and Cloud just goes fucking ape shit on him is so good. Oh my god. Yeah, really enjoyed Final Fantasy VII, and then I moved on to Final Fantasy VIII, played a little bit of it. Combat's wild in that game. Like I was liking it for a little bit. I'm already starting to feel like it's super tedious having to like draw magic from fucking every enemy you come across. And trying to get like as much magic energy or whatever the fuck you can um to like increase the stats of your character. So yeah, that's feeling a little bit tedious, but it is. I'm still having fun with it. And it's just really cool because it's like completely different vibe in that game, like aesthetically. Um, like it's very futuristic opposed to the Final Fantasy VII, which is still like fantasy, but then has like I don't know, it's more like industrial style type stuff going on in Final Fantasy VII. Kingdom Hearts Chains of Memories. fuck that game. That's all I have to say. No, I just was not enjoying myself, so I had to move on. Like, I there's just too much going on, man. I can't for me. I couldn't focus on my cards while focusing on the cards that the enemies were using while trying to dodge attacks. It was too much for my brain to handle, so fuck that shit. Moved on to Kingdom Hearts 2 already. And then finally, the final game that I'll mention is Cyberpunk 2077. They have Transmog.
Look
The game is still fun to play, and it is very, 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 very close to being an all-time great game.
Yeah,
but it misses.
It misses
It's
just barely.
What's that montage, man? Why is that there?
Okay,
I hate the montage at the beginning.
because it
It's
should
like,
have
we
been playable. All of that should have been playable.
Like, you need to do more than 2 missions with Jackie
Seriously, like
before he's.
Because they scrapped like fucking 2/3 of
Like,
the game.
he should have died like halfway through or a third of the way through the game, but instead he dies like 2 hours into
Well,
it.
and if they play it out, that should have been like 10 to 15 hours. Like,
yeah,
with him.
Oh, the montage.
Yeah, because all the things that you do are important. Like,
yeah, and it just like that montage makes it really feel like you're missing like an important like foundation for your character.
Yep.
Which it's an RPG, so that's kind of important. It's like and don't even get me started on the different fucking intros because
they're pointless.
They last like 5 minutes each.
Yep.
Like I did the Corpo one this time, and it was even shorter than the street one or whatever the hell.
They do. I mean, they do have some importance through the game, like
picking you can like choose different dialogue options.
But other than that, I mean, yeah, it's just pointless.
Very disappointing with that type of stuff. That's why it's like so. It's like you're
almost
so close.
They almost have.
Like why? They were like, oh, not enough people finished The Witcher 3. It's like, who gives a fuck? Because the people that did finish The Witcher 3 fucking loved it. So fuck off. Don't make it shorter.
Every hour. I was sad because the game was done. Right, like I had to beat the story because I did everything.
Yeah. And I'm still hoping they add a third-person camera to this game at some point.
Same. Maybe with the game of the year.
I doubt it. But I guess that's it for my crossplay. Sorry for having it be so long, but it has been 2 weeks. So you know what? What do I have to apologize for? Play log games. Play log games. So that's it for episode 81 of X to Interact. Make sure you follow us on all our various social medias. Make sure you come to twitch.tv/xinteract on Thursday for the live reactions to the Game Awards. We will go live probably like 10-15 minutes before the awards start to talk a little bit about what we expect to see there. So yeah, go check us out on Xinteract. Give us a follow. Every little bit helps. I have been Sam. I've been here with Eric and Steven, and Gaff was with us earlier. He will be back with us on Thursday. Till then, goodbye.